boy?
Bro, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm okay. I am okay. How are you doing, sir?
Oh my God, I am hot as a pot, man. I'm
Yeah.
glistening with sweat.
Yeah, that's a real thing. This heat wave is intense, boy. It's intense.
Yeah. Well, you know what's also intense?
What's that?
The fact that we're at episode 6 of our watch party, man. Can't believe it already.
Yeah, we did a thing, and now we're here, man. It's fantastic.
I know.
The first 5 episodes have been so great to watch, and the people have been so nice.
I know.
So
man.
I'm excited to do 6.
I'm so excited. And I'm so also grateful and thankful for everybody watching. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a Bit Playas watch party. Once again, my name is Kris Siddiqui.
And I'm Nigel Downer.
And every Tuesday and Thursday, we're watching our show because we wanted to watch it with our friends and people who haven't yet seen it. So thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And you know what? We made this show for not only myself and not only for Kris, but for the nerds of color, the people of color, for us, for our people of color that are huge nerds that don't see the representation of themselves on the screen, big or small. So we thought, you know what, let's put this little ditty together and spread the love. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying it just as much as we've been enjoying it again and making it that first time.
100%. So please sit back and watch the episode Comic-Con, and as we speak to one of our dear friends, Matt Watts, right after. Enjoy. We did it!
Another good one in the can, and it's out there for everybody to enjoy again and again and again.
Totally, man. You know, there was so much great stuff in that, but we got to the reason why we wrote that episode, Nige, was so we could go to Comic-Con for free on somebody else's dime, and it worked.
1000%, man. That was a dream come true for both of us to just see if we could make it happen. And it happened. I mean,
it happened big time.
It was one of the best days of my life. I love every minute.
Sorry, I interrupted. I was just going to say what I love about that day is that a little look behind the curtain is that your Axel Foley got so much love, and my Aladdin was a standard Aladdin. Yeah. And I think you just dug deeper with the Axel Foley, and that's what we appreciate. That's what we nerds appreciate, man.
Yeah, constant comments, constant jokes, and inside jokes. I felt like a little celebrity running around shooting this thing, and then people were just like, "Hey, Foley!" or just like, "Where's your banana?" Like there was all kinds of references coming at me, man. And it just felt, I've never felt more at home there because I go every year, as you know. Yep. But that was the first time I did cosplay, and I will never go to another con without doing cosplay from now on. There's no, you heard it here first.
Yes, I will join you. You know what? 100%. If only I cannot attain a costume, then I will go. But I will go now every Comic-Con in cosplay.
Love it. And you know who we should bring with us the next time we go to Comic-Con?
Who's that?
Oh, well, the prolific writer, I was going to say rewriter, because he did a lot of great stuff for us in terms of reading our scripts and cleaning it up and really getting into continuity of the thing. I want to bring on the infamous, the famous, the lovely, the shaved-headed, the gorgeous Matt Watts.
Matt Watts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hi, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was just in the middle of reading the novelization of the greatest comic book movie of all time, Tank Girl. But I guess I could put it down to join you for a chat about Bit Playas.
You know what? That's actually all the time we have for today. Thanks for
joining us. Let's have fun. I love this.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Because Matt thinks Tank Girl I was left with a bad taste in my mouth after that movie.
I'm a big fan of the comic first and foremost.
Okay,
so like the comic's excellent, and the movie's 90s trash, and it doesn't totally work, but it's enjoyable. Lori Petty's really good in it, and Malcolm McDowell chews the scenery.
Yeah,
it's got Ice-T as a talking kangaroo.
Kangaroo, that's right.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't know
90s
all the things you mentioned, maybe.
I guess in certain contexts, sure. It's not that good.
My 90s trash meter is Demolition Man. But I love it. I mean, I love Demolition Man. But here's my question. Do you guys remember, who do you remember more? Who's the star in your mind of Demolition Man?
Wesley Snipes.
Simon Phoenix, yeah, Wesley Snipes.
Okay, great. That's my point. See, we all remember that's a better movie because Wesley Snipes was Simon Phoenix in it. Yeah.
Stallone's not very good.
Yeah.
Stallone's not a good actor. Is he? I mean, do people think he is?
I haven't seen Copland. I don't know.
I watched Cliffhanger again. Was that it? Is that the one? That's I watched that a couple months ago. And I was like, this isn't a bad movie. He's not good in it. It's like, in terms of those action stars, he's like slightly better. He was good in Rocky, obviously. And he's better than like a Van Damme or a Chuck Norris.
Or Dolph Lundgren. He's better than Dolph. Like I liked him in the first like 5 minutes of Judge Dredd, I think. Yeah. Like I don't even know if it was the first 5 minutes. It was a miscellaneous 5 minutes there, and I was like, oh, I like this.
But then
definitely not the whole thing.
But when they did Dredd with Carl Urban, it was like, that's how it needs to be done, right? Like that, it's night and day.
Yeah. But that's a different, that's a star concept too, right? Like Stallone's like, hey, everyone should see my face.
Well, and that was the thing, right? Yeah, like you in the comic, you never see him without his helmet.
No.
But they were like, well, it's Stallone, we got to see his face. So
to that point, he was really good in First Blood, the very first Rambo movie he was good in, but that's because he barely had any lines of dialogue. I think, honestly, there was maybe 2 pages of dialogue in the whole script that Stallone had. At the end, he's like, oh, I see shit. But that
when he has the freak out.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, we have to make sure we acknowledge Cobra, okay? So listen, it's a deep cut, and Stallone didn't have a lot of lines in that either. I think his Mustang had more lines in that movie than he did, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
It's a great poster. That's what that
it's an
movie
amazing
is.
poster.
Oh my God. That poster, it's like, who needs to see the movie? Just look at the poster for 2 hours.
You've seen the movie if you've seen the poster.
Yeah.
Little known fact, we all know this, right? That Stallone was originally tied to Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he didn't want it to be a comedy. So then they're like, get out of here, bro. They got Eddie Murphy, and then he went off and made Cobra. His version of what Beverly Hills Cop was supposed to be.
Wild.
And in a different universe, to bring it, because this is what I assume you're doing, bringing it to your episode. In a different universe, you would have been cosplaying as Stallone and Cobra, because that would have been the more successful of the 2.
Wow, yeah, in an alternate universe, Bit Playas.
Oh, I hate that so much. But you know what? This is a good segue, Maddie. I want to talk about what we all want to talk about. When I met you and when we brought you on to help us write this thing and flesh this thing out and just kind of figure out what was going on. When you read the first draft of any of the scripts, doesn't matter, what were you initially thinking? Like, what in your mind were you initially thinking? And be honest, just all the transparency. Let us know.
I thought that the core of it was great. I thought that because I remember that we did that read through at Chris's apartment. Yeah. This is like a long time ago. You had 3 episodes, I think, written, or 4 episodes, and
3, I think. Oh wait, maybe it was 4.
Maybe 4.
It was like the D&D episode. It was this episode. And I can't remember.
Maybe Becky's.
Maybe a version of Becky's.
Maybe,
yeah. So I don't know if I'd actually read them before we just had to read through. And you had pretty much close to the cast that you ended up getting, right? Because you had Mark Andrada and Dave Tomlinson was there.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that it's just like the stuff that I'm good at helping with is just like basic structure and making sure that there's an arc with the characters and I think you had all the components and the elements. I thought there's something really great here. It's like looking at a puzzle and that's like 90% there, and just like, how can I help with the last 10%? I thought it was awesome. It was like one of those things where it's funny because you're in the room and you're listening to everyone read it and you just have a feeling like, oh, this is gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen at some point. It might have taken a while, which it did,
Yeah.
And this is what I was thinking about this morning. It was like, was it really hot that day that we did that first read through?
Oh, I'm sure.
Then it was like hot then. Then it was hot when we wrote it. It was hot when you guys filmed it. And now it's fucking hot now. Like none of the shows taking place in the winter ever.
Oh, it was so hot when we wrote it because I wanted to have, I'm a big lover of big whiteboards. And I wish we had just big whiteboards, but it was fun just to sit in the front room and sweat our faces off. Like, well, would this be funny? Would this be? And get up and yeah, I really owe it to you, Maddie. Thank you so much. You were a big sounding board for me too when I was first trying to kind of just come up with some sort of idea, and it was nice to have you around because, you know, much to your chagrin, Maddie, you are a well-known, amazing writer in Canada.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say. I was very honored to be the sounding board. It's a fun job for me because it requires actually very little writing. It's just, you know, it's being an audience, and it was so much fun being an audience for you guys while you were riffing, you know. And
was it here's something you'll be honest about. Was it weird being a white dude with a black dude and a brown dude being like, are these funny? Absolutely.
But also, I recall many conversations where I was allowed to go, hey, is this okay to ask? And which was a lot of fun for me because I felt really comfortable and close with you guys. And it's like, honestly, when do you get an opportunity to just be open and honest and ask questions that might otherwise be flagged as inappropriate? Because I remember like the black cat thing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That came out of me going, because Black Panther hadn't come out yet. And I thought, and I asked Nigel, I said, will it be offensive if a bunch of white kids are running around wearing Black Panther t-shirts?
And I said, yes, 100%.
And
but no, you're right.
Story point was born.
Yeah. That's a great point, is that we were having these conversations that are so difficult in the world, it seems to have, when it was just a good vibe, and it just made for more honesty, more openness between not only the three of us, but between the words that we were putting out on the page and the script and the idea that we were putting on the page, because then we all walked away from it being very comfortable and being very proud of the work that we did.
And you know what, it's funny because all these conversations about representation and diversity and relatability, it's like, it's always been nonsense to me, because it's like, what, like I understand representation, absolutely. Because as a kid, as a small nerdy child watching Rick Moranis on screen, I was like, oh, I can do this because there's a guy who looks exactly like me that I can do. So representation, I think, is absolutely key. But the second part is, it's like, there's nothing in these episodes or what you guys do that I can't relate to on a human level, because it's like, the specificity is important, but underneath it is still a human component. So it's fun. It was fun for me to sit there and watch and go, okay, that's like additional interesting material that is specific to you guys, but I can still relate to it.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things I remember you saying, you know, it's like, why, the big thing is, you know, why make this? What's the point of it? And we could have just had a bunch of, you know, racialized jokes here and there, but it was more of that idea that it's more about these two guys and that friendship that I think is really the core of this whole thing, so that we can spin out from that, but we're always spinning back to who these two guys are, and that will take
it's funny that it's like the selling point of the show that is the nerds of color thing, but it's like, to me, it's like friends, nerds of color, right? Like those are the sort of the layers of what you can relate to, and everyone knows what it's like to be a friend, and most of us know what it's like to be a nerd, and not everyone knows what it's like to be a person of color, but you know, through that ranking.
Well, also the great thing about this episode, and Nigel and I were talking about this, but you wrote this episode.
I rewrote it. You sent me a script because you were under a time pressure, and I did a pass, and then you did another pass. Like, it's funny because when I watch it, I go, I think I wrote that. I think I helped with that, but I think I don't remember writing that. But you know, it's a great episode. I mean, you know, I love the I've always been sold on the Axel Foley thing. Like, that was
100%, right?
And I mean, I got to give a massive shout out to Kris for that idea. Like we were just batting around ideas. Who could we dress as? You know what I mean? And we both love Eddie Murphy. We both love Axel Foley, especially Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, you know, me and him went to, Kris actually surprised me with tickets at the Review Theater, and they were playing Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh,
And
wow.
I didn't know that we were going to go see it. And he was like, hey, just meet me at the Review, and then and we'll go from there. Just be there at 7:30. And I was there, and my mind was blown. And I just was like, oh, I kind of teared up. And then we both watched this movie, and we watched how fantastic Eddie Murphy is in it. Like, it's unreal how good he is in this movie.
And how old was he too? He was like
25.
Yeah, early I mean, early mid-20s, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the Eddie Murphy thing is, it was nice to pay tribute to Eddie Murphy because weirdly, I feel like, I mean, everyone knows how great he is, but no one, our generation specifically remembers how huge he was and how, like, what a star he was to all of us. I mean, it's like for a specific generation, comedy was Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
and for a specific generation now, Eddie Murphy is Donkey.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
That's
Oh,
it,
shit,
right?
yeah. True.
You know, I will say too, Maddie, like with all this, big shout out to our dear friend Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, who was we did a Scooby-Doo ending in this episode, and we got Paul to come in and be our landlord.
Yeah, how did that I mean, obviously, everyone knows Paul, but it was funny because I remember when we were batting around, we didn't talk about the landlord being a cameo. I remember the joke being floated out there that it's like we would have him flash back to other episodes that he's been stalking you guys through the entire series thus far, but it had never been discussed that it would be anyone important like Paul.
I think that was just an idea that was tossed around in the office.
Yeah.
I was hoping for something more exciting.
Sorry.
Well,
Make up something.
Well, if you want more excitement, let's talk about one of your favorite movies. Let's talk about some Back to the Future 3, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said you wanted to talk about Back to the Future 3. Now, Kris, have you seen it yet? Or did you watch it with Sebastian?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Listen how disappointed you are, man, about Back to the Future 3.
Well, first of all, Back to the Future is a classic, except for the first 10 minutes. That whole scene where he goes in with the giant amplifier is just stupid. I don't understand why that's in that movie. They could cut, like, it's weird too. All the high school stuff up until he meets, it's like weird. It just, I rewatched all three like in the last month because what else am I doing? And I was shocked at how bad those first 10 minutes are. But then the movie's fantastic. And then part two feels like a bridge film, and it feels like it's a little too, it's enjoying its cleverness a little bit too much, which I'm definitely guilty of in my own writing, so I shouldn't criticize. Then part three is this fantastic standalone buddy comedy / romance between Christopher Lloyd and Mary Steenburgen, which is, you know, unusual for the time, and then with a time travel component to it. It's a great movie. That's what I will say.
Well, you know what? Yeah. Nige, have you seen it recently, Back to the Future 3?
Recently, no. I have seen it, though.
When was the last time you saw it?
Ooh, Back to the Future 3? It might have been like when it came out in theaters.
Yeah. Last time I saw it, maybe when I was a kid.
You know, it's the 30th anniversary or 35th anniversary of Back to the Future this year, the first one. So I know. But that's, if there's ever an excuse to watch all three.
Yeah.
But I do got this. Please hold.
Oh, okay. Well, what
is it? The novelization? I was like, do I have the novelization of Back to the Future 3? I have the first one.
Why do you have the novel? Whoa.
I collect novelizations.
Oh, okay. What is this?
Whoa. Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, it's from part two. And then
it's on the roof.
Oh, when he jumps off the roof.
Yeah, when he hits Biff with the door.
Yeah. That's amazing. Where did you get that?
Dude.
So, this is a limited print. This is from a company called Mondo. And Mondo is in Texas. And if you ever get a chance, viewers, check them out. I think it's called mondoposters.com or whatever it is, but it's Mondo, Mondo, and they do these like limited runs of posters, and that is literally all my collection is just these fantastic, expensive because they're American, but they're so worth it. Mondo posters. So
They
I'll
do
pick up
other
that
stuff
one
too.
They do albums, they do action figures, they do tiki mugs, they do all kinds of other stuff. Okay.
Oh yeah, Maddie's turn.
Yeah, Maddie's turn. Show and tell.
I remember Back to the Future 2 being like a beautiful follow-up to Back to the Future 1. I always looked at it as like the Empire Strikes Back of Back to the Future, man. It was such a good, and then I don't know what it was about Back to the Future 3 that I was just like, nope, don't need to watch that again.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, because 3 is the Western, right?
3 is the Western.
When did Wild Wild West come out with Will Smith and I can't remember the other actor's name? Because I feel like it would have been around the same time. Because you know how movies are always coming out in like, there was like Tigerland and Saving Private Ryan and then Thin Red Line. Like we were in this World War II phase. Like there's always.
I can't find it.
Wild Wild West came out in 1999.
Sorry.
Okay, gotcha. So it was up against The Matrix. Nice. Okay.
Back to the Future 3 came out in 1990.
I have this great Mondo album that they just released of the Bill and Ted's soundtrack, and it's beautiful. And I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
I have a poster. I have a Bill and Ted's poster. I have 2 of them.
They're great. Anyway, it's amazing we got the show written at all, because this is all we did. Realistically.
We did.
It was basically just an excuse to do this for months.
Yeah.
And then the show got made.
Yeah. And then by the end of it, we were like, oh, shit. We hung out so much, we wrote shit. Cool.
Yeah.
That was great.
I want to ask you this, Matt. What was something that you can remember taking away from the experience working with Kris and I, or working with that show?
I think, you know what what really helped me personally as a writer was that I really, really enjoyed maybe it's an age thing, because I'm a little older than both of you. But it was really nice to just feel like it was someone else's show and I could just help and not have my ego involved as much. Because, you know, when you're writing your own thing, it's yours and you personalize it. And it's a different, it's like a letting go in a weird way of being able to say, no, this is their show. And my job is to help you guys do the best show you can. But it's not mine in a way that I would get defensive or argumentative. So I never felt like we were clashing over anything, because it was always about helping you. It is that sort of improv thing of making other people look good. But when you're a writer, a lot of times it's a solitary thing. So no one's really helping you. You're kind of doing it on your own. But this was an opportunity to just really support you with your vision. And when I left that room, it was a feeling of like, oh, that's a really nice experience. And I could, being a story editor, is something I was like, I'd be really happy doing that on as many projects as possible, because I can help, and it doesn't have to be about me, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It does. Big time.
And I think it worked, right? Like, I think it worked really well, because I mean, you guys are the stars, it's your show. And
I was going to say, you didn't make it about you, we made it about us. So I think it worked.
But but that was the perfect thing. And it's just like, my job is to come help look for little holes that I can plug, you know?
Totally. Well, you plugged our holes, but
glad I was able to plug your holes.
Maddie, we love you so much.
You too, guys. I love you. This is thank you for asking me to jump in and speak. I was so happy to.
Oh, you got it.
Show. And
I mean, I tell you, the big thing that got you on was your controversial views on Back to the Future 3, but
yeah,
I knew they'd pay off at some point. And,
finally,
during this pandemic, it's always nice to know that, there are people who are interested in talking to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm going crazy.
Well,
this is day one. Day one of the pandemic. It's like, oh, here we go.
Wow, early. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll leave you to the hotel that you're running. We know that you have your wife and your son there, and you have to take care of the thermostat. And
Yeah. How is it? All work and no play.
that's right.
Thank
Good
you,
talking to
Maddie.
you, buddy.
All right, guys.
Love you, bro.
Love you too. Talk to you soon.
All right, see
Talk
you
to you
later.
soon, pal.
Bye.
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 Oops.
No. Hang out if you like. Wait, before I forget, what did you say came out in, did you say 99 or 89?
What? Back
Back
me?
to the Future 3 came out.
No, Matt, get out of here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, man, come on. Awkward. Back to the Future 3 came out in 90,
Yeah.
and Wild Wild West came out in 1999.
90, yeah. Okay, that's right. Okay, cool. All right. So my facts are straight. Man, I just wanted to do a quick fact check.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was really, really fun.
Oh, that was so fun. He's one of our dear friends, so I'm so glad we could rope him in on this and have him stand up to these statements that he makes about Back to the Future.
And he was confident about it too. Like the way that Maddie told us what Back to the Future 3 was about, like his quick elevator pitch, I was like, oh wait, do I need to rewatch that? Because that doesn't sound like what I saw.
Well, I'll follow it up with two is that he totally shit on the first 10 minutes of Back to the Future right after saying it's a perfect movie. So, you know
That's
what?
true. That's true.
Yeah. Unreliable source, that guy. Unreliable.
Yeah. Regardless, love the guy to bits. He did such a great job.
He did. He helped us out so much.
Yeah, fine too.
So, once again, we've ended another episode. Nige, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Remember, we only have a few more left, but you can watch us every Tuesdays and every Thursday at 4:20, baby.
Yeah, you know it. And you know what? Make sure to hit us up on all the socials if you want to ask questions or if you want some more details. It's at Bit Playas, and that's on all the socials: Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, IG, what else? Periscope. You name it, we're all over there. So hit us up. And also to our friends across the border, watch us on Amazon Prime. Bit Playas is on Amazon Prime now. And also all our Canadian friends, once again, just to reiterate, make sure you watch us on CBC Gem. Look for Bit Playas. It's right there. You can't miss it.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. On behalf of myself, Nigel and Kris Siddiqui, and LaRue Entertainment, and the whole cast and crew that created Bit Playas, I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss or talk about Black Lives Matter. This is a huge movement that's happening right now that needs to happen right now to battle systemic racism. Police are killing Black men and Black women, and I think right now is the best time, the right time, to do your research, read books, watch documentaries, donate, help with charities, or even protest or march, whatever you need to do to help. Because Black lives matter.